Sadnam aloha, everyone. So today I want to talk about the transit of the sun. It's in here now. It's moved into the 39, and it's there until July 6th here. So if you look at the chart, the transit chart here, you can see the 39 comes off the root shock right here. So it's a pressure. And it's part of the channel of emoting. So that 3955 here, and 55 is a huge part of the cross of the sleeping phoenix. It's going through a mutation. It's the one that goes first, the 55. Okay, so let's get into this here. So this week, we've moved out of the 52. The shadow of restraint, remember in my last video, and the stillness, the Buddha gate. So you may want to watch that if you're not familiar. So take note if you have this 39 natally, maybe write it down in the comments or in the chat. So you may feel emotionally provoked. This is the gate of provocation, seemingly out of nowhere. So this week, there's an opportunity to transform reactivity into creativity. So others may trigger each other's unspoken truths. So the things that you're not saying, right, can really come up this week. And then you may be triggering other people to speak their truth as well. So this is the rebel archetype is lit up. It's totally lit up, especially for those with gate 55, right? Because through the transit, you're going to have this whole channel defined, right? So if you've got the 55 or the 39 undefined, then these two are going to be in definition. So definitely you'll have a pressure, right, to release the emotional body. So this is a sacred disruption. This is the soul pressing against numbness. The soul wants to feel. It wants to feel truth. And remember, we're moving from a mental awareness system, and then we're moving into this solar plexus awareness. So it's no longer thinking your way through life. It's feeling and sensing your way through life. Okay, so really it's a piercing sword if you want to look at it like this. The 39th gate is a piercing sword. So it's not a sword of logic. It's a sword of emotional truth, right? Solar plexus is the home of your emotions. So gate 39 is going to provoke the dammed up waters of the 55th gate. So pressing pressure on the emotional body until truth erupts. So you're no longer going to be able to suppress the truth, right? With the 39 there. Now I have the whole channel myself. I have the channel of emoting, the 39 to 55. So I provoke others just by being myself, right? It's right there in my aura. And I provoke others to determine if they're the right spirit for me. So I really provoke people that are being fake and inauthentic and pretending and playing a role. That's what I notice because my sun is in the 8, right? So what it shows me, especially as a projector, it's a real easy way. I mean, prior to learning about human design and really committing to my spiritual journey, right? I wasn't in a place of self-love at all, and I would judge myself and dislike this part of myself that provoked others. But now I see it as a real gift, and then I'm not wasting time with people that aren't for me, right? So this will be for you as well, right? Your spirit is going to be provoked, and it gets provoked through your emotions. And no longer you're going to be able to talk yourself and gaslight yourself out of your feelings. They're going to come up, right? And the great thing is that you'll get to the truth, right? You'll get to the truth here. Okay, so the energy is a divine intervention. It's like imagine it's an intervention, right? The divine, that your angels are stepping in and they're saying, I will press this wound, right? That you've been suppressing, that you've been denying until you feel again, until you speak, until you let your heart come back online. This is the 39. It's a divine intervention this week. So this means no more avoidance, no more silence, right? Because the divine loves you too much. It's not to punish you. The divine loves you way too much to let you stay small and to hide in this lifetime, right? So it provokes the lie that you've been living so that you can, that the true cry that's needed. Remember, we're evolving through the emotional body, and there's a cry that needs to be cried, right? That's those stuck emotions. So that true cry can come up and surface. So then your awareness can expand. You can't spiritual bypass this. You can't fake. You can't fake awareness. And this is what the cry does. So you know this when you have a huge breakthrough, it comes with emotional release. And then afterwards, it's the spaciousness, inner spaciousness. And then all this self-awareness comes, all this wisdom comes from that. But we've been conditioned to see that as a weakness. We've been conditioned to stuff that down. And especially you as a divine feminine, you need to be a channel of truth. You are a channel of truth as a divine feminine in this lifetime. And you are not a channel of truth when you're all stuck up and you're denying, right? You're taking on all that conditioning and you won't allow your emotional body to purge, right? That's the storm that needs to take place for you. So don't be afraid of it, right? And you're going to feel it this week. So what happens then is the real you, the authentic you, can emerge from the wreckage, right? From that wreckage. This is the phoenix coming from the flames, right? From the not self, so you can be your authentic self. So this is primal, right? This is the root. It's the root chakra, right? And it wants your words to be real, not fake words, not like nice sounding words, not word salad, right? The 39, the root wants your words to be real and authentic, not perfect, right? So this is the piercing sword so that you can really get to the truth, right? The truth in your life and stop living a lie. So, okay, so you may feel, right, the emotional provocation that I talked about, and your soul wants to feel truth, right? So this is a sacred disruption for you. So the 39th shadow of provocation here, I want to talk about the karmic loop. And I've talked about, quite a bit about this in my prior videos too, right? So this is the place where so many on the fractal feel stuck. They feel stuck right now in a karmic loop. And in this loop, the mind keeps spinning. The mind is spinning. It's trying to solve, right? This is the old cross the planning way, right? I'm trying to solve. I'm strategizing. I'm trying to fix. I'm trying to plan the way out, right? It's the old way. But you'll notice with the mind in human design, right? If we go back to the chart, because the mind is up here. It's connected to the throat. It's connected to the crown, but that's it. It's not connected to a motor, right? It's not connected to any motor here. You notice that? The mind has no power to move energy. And right now, we're in a time of movement of energy. That's the cross of the sleeping phoenix. It's all about energy. It's all about frequency. It's not about mind, right? It's not about mind. So if we go back here, right? It can't move energy. That mind can't move energy until you agree with the mind. It's like, okay, the mind says something. Well, you should do this because this will keep you safe, right? This is the ego mind. This will keep you safe. No, don't change. No, don't listen to to your intuition. Just stay the same, keep everything the same, right? And there's no movement there. There's no movement of energy there until you buy into it and say, oh, yeah, mind, you're right. I should stay where I am. This is why I've come to this planet, to stay on my couch and keep everything the same and stagnant, right? That's ridiculous. The only thing constant right now is change, and change is coming fast and furious, right? Like, watch out. July, when Uranus moves into Gemini, I'll do my next video on that, right? Like, look out. We're going to be experiencing lots and lots of change. So the mind cannot move energy. It's weak. It's very, very weak. So the more that you stay in your mind and planning and fixing and strategizing and trying to solve, the more trapped you become. The more trapped you become. The 39th shadow is all about feeling trapped, right? Trapped in your life, trapped in a relationship, trapped in a career, whatever it is, trapped in a place of living, right? So the more trapped you are, the more you're in your mind, the more trapped you are. You're not going to move energy. That's how the only way out is in, and that's moving energy. So this is when hope becomes a prison. Well, I hope that change will happen, right? I hope that somebody will come in and save me and tell me what to do. I hope that my karmic relationship that'll finally change, that'll finally see me, right? That's a prison. Your hope becomes a prison because you're not moving energy. And ideas, great ideas, right? They're just delay. The mind just delays you, keeps you in a loop. You're in this loop. That's the karmic loop. You start saying, maybe they'll change. Well, maybe next time, right? Maybe if I wait. That's not healing. It's looping, right? There's no movement. You're just looping. You're treading water, right? You're treading water. That's not living. That's not what you've come down here for. So comfort is a trap, right? And we've been taught and conditioned that comfort is safe. Our educational system, our religion, our culture, our family have taught us that comfort means safety. Comfort means security. And this is the cross of the planning that's coming to an end in 2027, right? Comfort is not safe now. It's not safe. Doing things the way that they used to, right? The old system. Well, I'll just follow the old system. It promises me comfort, promises me safety and security. It's like, no, 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 no. Right? The music is changing. I talked about this on my last video. The playlist is changing. So that means the dance has to change. The way that we dance with life has to change. Right? So comfort without movement, right? Well, I'm comfortable, but I'm not moving. I'm not talking about external and being busy. I mean movement of energy internally. Movement of energy internally. That's the evolutionary energy, right? That's not peace, right? Comfort without movement is not peace. It's energetic paralysis. It's paralysis. You're stagnant. You're dying your life. You're either living your life or you're dying your life, right? And if you're stuck in comfort without any movement, you're dying your life. This is the loop, right? This is the loop that you're in. So you can be in the wrong relationship, the wrong job, the wrong timeline because it's familiar, right? And because it's familiar, your nervous system will say, oh, this is fine, right? This is fine. This will do, right? This is all I want for my life is to be comfortable. But there's no spark. There's no passion. There's no expansion. There's no growth. And there's no inner movement. There's no inner movement. Do you know what I'm talking about? Just write it down in the comments if you're resonating with this message. And remember, if you're on my fractal, you're on the Phoenix fractal. If you got like your loaded guns, Scorpio guns, right? You got stellium and Scorpio, stellium in the 8th house, right? You've got Black Moon Lilith and Scorpio, right? But also, if you resonate deeply with these messages, yes, welcome aboard. You're part of this fractal, right? But if you're like, who is this guy? And I'm getting provoked, and I'm gonna project all this garbage onto me as a messenger, then no, you're not on my fractal. Go away and find your own fractal, right? There's a soul tribe there for you, somewhere out there for you. I don't take this personally, especially because I have this natally, the 39, right? Which is provocation. And the funny thing about the 39, right? Having the 39 natally, I don't just provoke other people, I provoke my own self. And you, if you may relate to this, if you've got the 3955, right? You provoke your own self. A lot of like really musicians that I love, they've got this 3955 because they know the depths, right? The 3955 takes you to the depths of life, right? And to the highs of life, right? It's very, very creative. It's very creative. It's individual. And this is the 39's part of this, right? So I even provoke myself. I provoke my own emotions, right? Not just other people to like clear up my channel of truth, right? Okay. So let's look at breaking the spell. The 39th gate is come to break the spell that we're all under, right? And this is the Piscean Age. The last 2,000 years, we're entering into the age of Aquarius. And what's been the spell? The cast, right? The cast, the net, the veil over us, right? That's put us asleep, made us unconscious. Well, we forgot, right? We're starting to remember now. And what's the biggest lie is that God is on the outside of you. The divine is on the outside of you, right? And you may say, well, I'm not religious. That's especially that word God is a real triggering word for people, right? I'm not religious. That's not me. Well, we've been all under it. This is how important this is. That's all you have to know. This is the lie that we've been under right here, right? The divine is outside of you. Use the word divine if you feel more okay with that, or God's outside of me. Remember, God is not not the God from the Bible, right? I don't look at that like that. I see a universal God. I look at it more from a yogic perspective, that it's all one. We're all one. That's what God is. It's the totality of everything. So God is an acronym that stands for generating, organizing, destroying, or delivering. Those are the three aspects of God, of the totality, right? So look at it like that. Okay, so we've been all under this, breaking the spell. So this is the idea that God is elsewhere. God is somewhere else, right? God is in the afterlife, right? I die and then I go into the kingdom of heaven, and then I'm going to meet God, right? And so that's the big lie, right? So this is the peace and God is inside. Me and you and me and you are God, right? Right? Like, look at it like that. You're God. I'm God. Your dog's God. Your cat's God. Everything. God is everywhere. It's inside and externally, right? It's everywhere. It's the totality. There's nowhere where God's not there, right? So this is the peace that lives just out of reach, right? It's the thing that we're missing is out there, right? So we've all been conditioned to think and believe that we're missing. We're not enough. We're not good enough. We're not attractive enough. We don't have enough money. We don't have enough qualifications. We're always like chasing something to feel good enough, right? That's where this comes from. This is the core, the root of it. So the thing that we're missing is out there that we've been conditioned to believe. So we chase it. We chase this thing. We're chasing God in the divine. So we can chase it through alcohol, drugs, stimulation. What are we really looking for when we're drinking and doing drugs, right? And stimulating ourselves? We're looking for God. That's the peace. That's the contentment. That's what we want. The love, That's what we want, the unconditional love. That's God. That's the divine. When we're chasing fame, achievement, validation, titles, qualifications, what are we looking for? We're looking for the divine. We're seeking the divine outside of ourselves, right? If we're chasing relationships, we're chasing love, we're chasing sex, we're chasing attention, we're chasing God, we're chasing the divine. And the same with money and power and control. So we tell ourselves stories like, well, if I just had more money, then I could do this and I would be free, right? Well, if they loved me back, right, I would be happy, I would be peaceful, right? If I finally got seen, if finally people saw me, finally people followed me and chose me, right? Liked my posts, subscribed to me, right? Then I would be happy. That's all, right? So these sentences are really saying, if I just had the divine, I'd be finally whole. I would finally feel whole if I just had the divine. So just take a moment right now. Think of something you've been chasing. Like, what have you been chasing in your life recently, right? So say what you've been chasing and replace it with the divine. Well, if I just had more money, you change it to, if I just had the divine. If my partner finally showed up, if I just let the divine in, substituted for that. If my family were healed, I could rest, right? I could finally rest. I would be happy if my family were healed. Change it to, if I trusted the divine. If I trusted the divine, I could finally rest, right? So do that, switcheroo. This is what we're going. We're moving into the Aquarian age, right? So this is, we're letting go of the spell that we've been under, right? And there's an old saying, like, get to God and everything gets to you. So it's like, go inside, find your own divinity. That's what you're really looking for. Don't be wasting your energy. I'm telling you, this is a projector. Stop wasting your energy chasing the divine outside of you. Once you get to your divinity, this is union. This is part of the twin flame journey. I have a lot of people on the twin flame journey, on the twin flame path. This is what we're being called to do, is come into union with our own divinity, our own divinity. And divinity means that to not be divided, right? This is division, right? That I'm seeking something outside of myself. That's divinity. That's to divide yourself. There's me, and then there's something outside of me that's going to make me feel whole, right? And divinity is not to be divided, right? Not to be divided. Okay. So we did that, the karmic loop. Okay, so the 39 is helping to liberate you from this, right? This duality. So the 39 comes in, right? Going back to comfort in your loops that you've been in, right? The 39th shadow, or the 39th gate, comes in. The energy of the 39 comes in and says, enough, right? Enough of the comfort zone. Enough of being emotionally half dead, right? Enough of faking a version of peace while your soul is screaming for you to evolve, right? Stop faking this version of peace. You've taken such a small, tiny, right? Tiny piece of peace, right? The play on words here, like a tiny little piece, right? Of peace. Right? Peace is wholeness. It's your wholeness, right? You've taken such a tiny little piece of it, and then your soul is screaming for more, right? More. It's like starving. Your soul is starving, right? So the 39th gate is coming in. The 39th energy is coming in and saying, enough. Enough of you playing small. Enough of you just settling. Just settling. That's not what you've come in. You haven't been born in this time and space, especially if you're on my fractal, to just play small and hide. That's not you. So I'm here to remind you, right? And this is soul contract territory, the 39, right? It's time to step up And remember that you signed a soul contract before you incarnated. And your soul contract was not to be hanging out with karmics and staying small and hidden and staying comfortable. That's not what you saw. That's not your soul contract, right? You did not come here for a vacation lifetime. That's not you. If you're on my fractal, no. And you know that deep in your bones, right? So let's look at astrology. In the square, you know, a square in astrology, always bad news, right? When you see a square. And a square is when two forces are in a hard tension and both want something, right? Both want something, right? Like think of Saturn and repression and status quo, and then Uranus on the other side, freedom, liberation. But it's in a square. There's no movement. There's no compromise there. It's this tension, creates this tension. And neither will yield, right? And there's no movement. There's no movement there. Well, that's what the karmic loop feels like, right? And you may be feeling it now. I'm in this friction. I'm fighting, right? I'm fighting with this karmic situation, whether it's a relationship, a job, or a place of living, whatever it is, right? There's a friction there, there's a pressure, but there's no forward motion. There's no forward motion. So gate 39, what it does with the square is the spark. It's a spark that cuts the square. This is diagonal energy, right? It's a liberating angle. So it turns like, look at the square over here, right? So it turns, this is the diagonal energy, the tantric energy right here. It goes right through the square. There's the square. And what is it making here? It's making one triangle, right? Two triangles here, two triangles. And this is, which in astrology is a trine, right? It's a trine. So it's got two, it creates two triangles. And so a trine, you always love to see trines because this is supportive energy. It's harmonious energy that moves, that ascends, that frees you, right? So this energy of the 39 is liberating you from your blocks, right? Whatever blocks that you're in, if you receive it, And I'm going to tell you what's stopping you. So this is soul contract territory here. So when you're living your highest timeline, it's not about everything being easy and comfortable. It's about energy moving. When you're in your highest timeline, energy is moving. That's what it's about. You don't get fixated on the external, right? Energy is moving inside. Awareness is expanding. Consciousness is rising. Wisdom is coming, right? Reality is coming. I start to awaken, right? I start to remember why I'm here. And then your life force starts returning. Your life force starts returning. You cry and it heals something very, very ancient. That's the liberation. That's the product. Is the crying, right? The crying. This is the release, the emotional release. This is something ancient from your past life, right? Is healing. You speak and something shifts. Something will shift when you speak the truth. Your body pulses with something that's beyond logic, right? And that's the sign that you've re-entered your soul contract. You're alive again. You're alive again. You're passionate about life. You're waking up. You're getting out of bed. I got a purpose. I have meaning in my life. This is you're on it, right? You're aligned with your soul contract, right? So that's how you know I'm no longer looping because I'm alive, right? I'm alive. There's frequency moving inside me and I'm evolving. What does the universe want from you? This, right? You've come here to give and receive, right? You're here to help others transition, right? Transition into this new age with your gifts and talents. And they don't come from your ego. They come from your soul, right? All your past lives, all those experiences that you've accumulated, all this wisdom that you've accumulated. Now you're here to help others. You're here to give to others. Okay, so there's liberation there. So think of that like the blocks, right? The tension inside me, these karmic loops I'm in, that's the square. And then 39 is the gift, right? Divine intervention. It's going to make two trines from it, two triangles. So let's look at what's back to this 39th shadow. I mean, I could approach it a lot of different ways, right? Well, we got to talk about what's blocking this, right? We know ego. Yes, ego is the diametrically opposed to spirituality, right? Is ego. We know that. And there's lots of aspects of ego. So I want to talk about this aspect. And this is the false rebel. And this is blocking the divine. So this is the low vibe rebel, right? The shit disturber, the knee jerk contrarian, right? No, no, no. The favorite word of the low vibe rebel is no. The one who doesn't trust anything, right? Doesn't trust anything or anyone, not even true guidance, not even the divine, right? The low vibe rebel does not trust the divine. The low vibe rebel doesn't even trust your own intuition. It will question your own intuition, right? That rebel, that reactionary, that's defensive, button pushing ego. It's not your freedom. You have believed that this false rebel is you. You've believed that this false rebel is you, and it's not self. It's a not self, right? So you believe that, oh, this rebel is giving me freedom, keeping me free. I'm not listening to you. I know better than you. I'm free. I'm not going to be imprisoned by you. It's actually your prison. You're actually in a prison when you're listening to this false rebel. So the root of this shadow is the father wound. It's totally the father wound. So this is a moment in childhood where you did trust. I'm going to the root of how this false rebel was born. It was born in that moment, and we've all had this moment in childhood, especially the divine feminines on my fractal. You had the Saturn, you had the Neptune conjunction, right? And Capricorn, that means father dissolves. No father structure in your architecture at all. So you have this false rebel because something has to take its place. And this false rebel took its place within you, right? So this is the moment in your childhood where you did trust. You did trust your father, right? You did believe in his guidance, right? That's natural. You're a child. That's what his purpose was there for. But he didn't follow through because of the planet we live on, right? Because you're supposed at the highest level, you, right, Pluto Scorpio on my fractal, you're here to have your own inner authority. That's what you're here to do, is to connect to your own inner authority. But this false rebel is not it. This is not your true inner authority, right? This is the ego disguised as your inner authority, right? So you did, let's go back to childhood. You did follow authority, right? You listened to someone you loved and they hurt you. They hurt you. They shamed you. They betrayed you, right? And in that moment, a protector rose up in your psyche, up inside you. And this voice said, never again. I'm never going to trust anyone ever again, right? And this false rebel says, don't listen to anyone. You're on your own. You're on your own. This is the abandonment of the divine, right? This abandonment wound. But it's this false rebel, and it's the father wound. So that voice became your inner rebel, right? But it's not the divine rebel of truth, right? It's the ego rebel of fear. So there she is there with her crown, right? This is the false rebel. Here in charge, you've got all these other ego aspects, but this is the queen. She's the queen rebel, right? Of fear. It's based in fear. So let's go a little bit deeper with this. So here's and it blocks the divine, right? So you think that it's you. You think that it's you, but you believe that this is you because you've had it from childhood. So the false rebel voice, let's see if you recognize this voice, right? You can't trust authentic people, only those who flatter you. Only trust the ones who flatter you. Only trust the other false rebel voices around you because you're going to attract, when I'll go into that, right? Other people around you that will also have this false rebel voice. They're in prison with you. You're all in prison together. The false rebel voice says God won't provide. The divine won't provide. You have to hustle, chase, and pretend, right? And fake and play a role. God's not going to provide. You got to do it all on your own. That's what this false rebel voice says, right? The false rebel voice says, God doesn't care about you. The divine doesn't care about you. It's not even real. You got to rely on me, this ego, right? So real spiritual, and also says real spiritual guidance is manipulation. You have to stay in control. That spiritual guidance that's coming at me, they're trying to manipulate me. That person that's telling me I should meditate, it'd be a good idea to meditate so that you can connect with your intuition. He's trying to manipulate me, right? I have to stay in control. I can't tell you the number of women that I've lost to this false rebel, right? This false rebel in these women friends, girlfriends, even more significant others, this false rebel took over and then lobbed bombs back at me that I was trying to manipulate them by trying to empower these women to listen to their own intuitive voice, not this ego. So this is serious, right? And this is the last to go. That's why I'm doing this online retreat, right? And I'll talk a little bit more about this. This comes from the father wound, and it's keeping you disempowered, this false rebel ego, right? Anyone that's telling you to follow me, do what I say, and make me the cult of personality, and I'm the best, and I'm at the top of the heap, and you need to worship me, right? Don't listen to your own inner authority. They're not a true teacher. A true teacher is always pointing you back to yourself. Listen to your intuition. Listen to your intuition. Go to your power, right? Surrender to that, to surrender to your own divinity. That's what a true teacher is, right? So don't listen to this false rebel, right? This false rebel, this voice in your head. It's keeping you from your power, divine feminine. So also this voice says success means being better than everybody else, being special, being untouchable. And then the false rebel voice also says comfort means safety, right? It's better if you stay here and stay put, right? There's always about money and material possessions and things like that, right? Don't surrender. Do not surrender. The false rebel will never allow you to surrender, right? Because then this disappears. The delusion, the illusion, the dream that you're in starts to disappear and dissolve when that false rebel starts to dissolve, right? Don't open, don't be vulnerable, right? This is the false rebel voice. And then the worst thing that this false rebel voice does, the worst of the worst, is that inner teacher. We all have an inner teacher within us, right? That's your own inner guru, taking you from darkness into the light. That guide within you is guiding you. Your intuition is guiding you right now, right? So this is the worst thing the false rebel voice says, right? Is that ignore it. Ignore it. It's dangerous. Don't follow it. Ignore it, ignore it, ignore it. Take drugs, take alcohol, eat sugar, distract yourself, stay busy. Ignore this voice within you. That's the worst of the worst. It's taking you from your power. It's taking you from your own inner teacher. And it's saying, I'm the authority. I know the best for you, right? And it doesn't. That ego does not. And it's loud, right? The false rebel voice is loud, loud. Your inner voice, your intuition, your guide, your inner teacher isn't loud. It's soft. And it's repeating the same message to you over and over and over and over again, which is the trust, right? Believe in yourself, trust, have faith. You can do this, right? So the irony here is that the ego rebel, the false rebel, this ego, the one that said it was protecting you from authority when you were a child, and it's still telling you this: I'm going to protect you from authority. I'm going to protect you from being manipulated and dominated, has now become your inner authority. That's who you're listening to. Right now, it's taken that place, right? And it's giving you bad guidance, which is to stay small, stay hidden. Don't do your soul's destiny, right? Just settle for this, right? It tells you when you're to react, when you should listen. It tells you to react when you should listen, to shut down, to not even listen. It tells you to numb when you should feel, when you should be feeling. It tells you to choose comfort and safety when your soul is begging for evolution, right? And this false self, this false rebel hijacks your intuition, and it blocks the divine father. And that's what my fractal needs. You need the divine father to come in because you're missing something in your spiritual architecture. And that's why you're unable to grow and evolve. And I know the women on my fractal are feeling that they've reached this glass ceiling, this block. I can't move past this block, right? It's because you need this. You need the divine father now to come in. This is your divine masculine energy to come in, and it's coming from the divine. It's not coming from outside of you. So stop looking for a man in your life to fill this. No man can fill this place for you, right? This divine father energy. It's got to come from the divine. It's pure and wants to come in. But this false rebel's got the hand up because of your childhood. It goes back to your childhood. So it's shutting the door to the face of your soul, your true power. It's shutting the door to your authenticity, this false rebel. And again, we're going to be working very, very deeply with this false rebel archetype here. And just because we're on it here, I want to mention something. You know that I go to this chart here, the cycles of consciousness, right? And so there we are in the cross of planning, and we're moving into the cross of the sleeping phoenix in 2027, right? And so what's going to be ending, so this is the direction that we were moving into. This is like a direction, and this is the how we moved into this direction. So this is like a global, what do I want to call it? A global cycle, a global program that's motivated humanity, right? That's going to change, drastically change in 2027. So here we have the 13 and the 61 here. So what was this about? We were motivated to find the truth. We were motivated to find the truth through logic. This was about penetrating the void, penetrating the unknown, right? How do things work? Why does the apple fall from the tree? What's gravity? Blah, blah, blah. We're not going to be motivated, but this is not going to work anymore. This is the key that opened up this 13, right? This 13th lock. And this was the drive to mentally penetrate the void in order to search for answers. But that cycle is ending. And now the new Phoenix code is this 54, right? The 54. And the 54 is all about transformation. So let's bring it back we can take this in a lot of different directions, but 61 and the 13, well, that was about therapy, right? About therapy. Well, let's go back to the past. Let's go back to your childhood. Like, let's use the father one for an example. Let's go back and go through all the memories that you have of your father, and then the details of what happened in your life. And then we're going to heal this through logic. And that's what therapy is, and talking and talking and talking. Well, this cycle's ending, right? The cycle is ending now. From the 61, we're moving to the 54. And it's like, okay, this stuff happened, but I'm not using my mind anymore. It's not going to work. It's not going to unlock, right? This lock. The new key is like, okay, this stuff happened, but now what do I do with it? How do I transmute it? How do I transform? The 54 coming from the root. The 61 is coming back to the mind, right? If we go back here to this here, right? The 61 here is off the crown, right? It's about the mind. And then there's the 54. It's coming off the root, right? So this is a pressure to ascend, right? This is aspiring spiritually. It's like, okay, how do I use this fuel now to transform? It's very Phoenix, isn't it? Right? It sounds like Phoenix to me. And the 54 rules Kundalini energy. And that's what, like, therapy's not going to work anymore to heal this. This is alchemy. You need alchemy. You need an experience to transmute this energy from your past. There's no going through the therapeutic model anymore. It's not going to move energy, but this will move energy big time, right? That's the spark. And this is the movement that gets you out of this karmic loop, right? So the thing is, with the Father Wound online retreat, you're not going to come to understand. It's not about understanding what happened to me, and right, and then this and this, and psychologically, this is why I'm this way. No, this is about transmuting it. It's burning through it, right? I'm really embracing this new energy and this new consciousness and these Phoenix codes, and that's what I'm going to start using in these online retreats, right? And so this is when you transmute the fuel of pain, that pain, into power, and to experience a renewness, a renewal, a rebirth, a resurrection of you, the real you, not as a concept, but as a cellular experience, a cellular reality, right? So you've been held in this energetic construct, and this space is designed for you to experience, right? Not to explain. It's not about explaining. It's about you going through a huge mutation and change, right? So this is the new way of healing. It's feeling it, it's moving it, it's letting it rebirth you, allowing it to rebirth you. Okay, so that's the new key. The new key is this 54 to open up the 13th. Right? So the therapeutic model is not going to work anymore in the cross of the sleeping phoenix. Okay, that was a side road here. So let's go to the letting go of the last ego here. Right? So back to the false rebel, blocking to the divine. Well, you've got the karmic versus the soul allies. So this is the time now to be discerning who is with you. Who is with you? Are they soul allies or are they karmics? So these are the two kinds of people in your life. Right now, everybody has two kinds of people in their life right now. They've got the karmics. Let's go through the karmics first. Well, the karmics flatter you, right? They agree with your story. They fuel your ego's rebellion. They fuel it, right? They say what's easy, right? They don't make you accountable. Like what, you know? Sure that you can lean on them and have a cry and stuff, but they'll never want you to grow and evolve. They'll want you stuck in this loop, right? They'll keep you comfortable in your story, right? It will be a victim story, right? They'll keep you comfortable there. They'll tell you what you want to hear because they need you to stay small. They need you to stay small with them, right? If you think of it as a prison, they want you in the prison with them, right? These are your karmics. Karmics are not about your soul purpose. The karmic will never help you with your soul purpose. They'll help you to a certain extent, but when you really step on to your soul purpose, no, they're not going to help you. They'll be blocking you, right? The illusion of power, right? The illusion of power with this 39th shadow keeps you addicted to ego power, right? Which isn't real power. This is judging others, staying in control, dismissing guidance, the rebel. You get to be right and everybody's wrong. You get to feel superior, right? But you stay stuck. Spiritually, you stay stuck. That's not power, that's a trap, right? Your real power is your soul. But right now, the soul is imprisoned by this 39th shadow right here, right? Until you let the truth in, especially the kind that offends your ego, you'll keep mistaking judgment for power and comfort for peace, right? You'll keep mistaking judgment for power. I'm powerful because I'm in the judging seat, and then your comfort for peace. But it's not, it's a trap, it's a prison. Okay, so letting go of the last ego. This is the last ego, this false rebel. Well, the rebels got you this far, right? Let's give snaps to the rebel ego. It did get you to a certain point. It helped you survive. It helped you to survive and not to collapse as a child. It gave you fire. It said no more when no one else did. No one else in your life did. Your mother didn't. Your father certainly didn't, right? Your relatives didn't. Your teachers didn't. But this last ego, right, this false rebel said no more. But now that rebel is the last ego that you must let go of because it's not freedom anymore, right? The freedom's not there anymore. It's not power, it's fear in disguise. And until you put the sword down, you'll keep fighting the very love that's trying to set you free. The 39th energy is love. It's trying to set you free. So liberation, that's the city, is liberation with this 39, begins when you recognize that the true rebellion is not against the divine. Right now, you're rebelling against the divine. It's against the illusion of control, right? It's against the loud inner voice that keeps you safe but small, right? When you realize this, So gate 39 is the diagonal cut through the lie of comfort. And it ignites when you're willing to say, I don't want to fight anymore. I'm tired. I'm done fighting my life. I'm done struggling in my life, right? I'm done with that. This is when you let this last ego go. When you say, I want to rise into my power. And how do you do that? Surrender. Surrendering to the divine, trusting and having faith in the divine that you will be provided for. You will be safe. You will be secure. You will be taken care of. You will be guided. You'll have wisdom. All of that's for you, right? But it's about letting this false rebel go. You need to fire it, right? Like, thank you for your service, but now you're done, right? I don't need you anymore. Okay. So let's look at these soul allies, right? The soul ally. So there you've got like the key, right? That's your soul ally. It's coming to you in your prison. You don't even realize you're in a prison, right? It's coming with the key. Your true soul ally. This is the friend of your consciousness, right? Your karmic is the friend of your rebel, right? It's not real a friend. Mostly karmics are friends of habits anyway. So the soul allies, they tell you what your soul needs to hear, even if it hurts, even if it breaks the illusion that you're in, because they want your freedom more than your approval, your ego's approval. They want you to be free in this lifetime. So when someone speaks the truth to you, you want to hold on to those people. Very few people will do this. They think, oh, it's not nice if I speak the truth, right? It's not nice. I have to be nice, so I have to lie to people. Basically, that's what you're saying. And I remember I said this in a few of my videos already. But when I first got into Kundalini Yoga teacher training, my teacher trainer took an interest in me. She took an interest in me, and she mirrored back. She was the first one who told me I was a real leader. Like I really got it then, right? And kind of shared with me what she saw, my destiny and my gifts. But she also showed me my shadow, right? She also showed me my shadow. And yeah, it hurt and it stung my ego, but that was very brief because I so appreciated her because she was the first one in my life that could tell me something about myself that was keeping me trapped. I couldn't see it. We can't see our shadows, right? We can't see our shadows. So I clung to her and I grew, right? And I grew so much. So those are the people you want in your life, not people that are flattering you and keeping you in your victim story. They want you to grow. She wanted me to grow and evolve. I could feel that. And that's what I want for you. That's what I want for the people that I work with, right? So when someone speaks the truth to you, not to control you, not to shame you, not to get off on it on some power trip, but to liberate you, you want to hold on to these people. These are your soul allies. They're a friend of your consciousness. They want you to grow and evolve. And their words might sting. They might trigger the ego. Chances are 100% they'll trigger your ego. The ego, right? And you'll get to see that ego come out of you, flying, right? Maybe you don't see that ego in a lot of people, but you'll see it in the friend of consciousness in your life. You'll see that. So what they're really doing, your soul, your friend of consciousness, your soul allies, they're pressing against the gate of your prison. When you get triggered, they're showing you where you're imprisoned, where you're living an illusion, where you're still asleep, right? And listening to the ego. They're trying to break your spell, the spell that you're under. They're trying to wake you up out of your coma, right? They're trying to wake the part of you that remembers who you are, trying to right? Trying to wake up the part of you that remembers who you are. It's about remembering. You have to remember who you are and remember your power in this lifetime, right? And the truth hurts the ego. That's the only thing it's hurting. It's hurting the ego, but it's feeding the soul. The soul rejoices when it hears truth because the soul is made of truth, right? Truth is a frequency. It's a frequency. And it cuts the karmic loop. And that's why when someone speaks truth into your life, especially if it challenges your story and the excuses that you tell yourself why you don't move, when they start to challenge that your comfort, your control, that person is not your enemy, right? That's your ally. That's your soul mirror. That's your initiator, right? So these are the kinds of people that you want in your life. And they're few and far between. I can tell you that right now. They're few and far between. So when you meet one, you want to hold on to them. Hold on to them. Because you'll grow and evolve really quickly together, especially if you're doing the same, right? Okay. You don't need somebody to be nice around you. That's an insult. If anybody calls you nice, they're insulting you. Because nice means you're a conformist, right? You don't rock the boat. You're not being yourself. You're with the status quo. You go along to get along, right? So the 39th gate for liberation, right? So the liberation moment this week, you want to welcome it. So if you feel that edge this week, like I'm irritable, I'm emotional, right? I'm getting triggered left and right. Wherever I go, I'm getting triggered, right? So this week, if someone's triggering you, calling you forward, pressing you uncomfortably, pause and feel it and ask. And this is like questioning your accountability, right? This ego does not want to take accountability. Accountability is taking responsibility for your life, right? For the choices that you make in your life. So you want to pause, feel it, and ask. Ask yourself, is this a karmic who's keeping me in the loop, triggering me, keeping me in the loop? Or is this a soul ally who's breaking me out of it, right? So is this a soul ally bringing the key to me? Or is it somebody that's keeping me in the prison with them, keeping me in a karmic loop? Right? So gate 39 will provoke you, but only because the spirit is ready to be free. Your spirit is ready to be free, right? This week. And here are some questions to contemplate. And if you're on your phone, you can do a little screen grab here. So where in my life, ask yourself, where in my life do I immediately reject guidance, even when it feels true? Right? Where in my life? What voice inside me insists I have to figure it out alone? Right? There's nobody there for me. Nobody cares. Right? The divine doesn't care about me at all. What's that voice? Right? This is you're digging out that rebel, the false rebel ego. Who gave me that voice? Who gave me that voice? When did that voice really come online? Who do I dismiss because they make me feel uncomfortable? 39 makes people feel uncomfortable because when you try to wake somebody up that's asleep, they'll start fighting you, right? They start fighting you. They'll swinging their arms and stuff, right? It's the same thing. You're trying to spiritually awaken somebody, wake them out of their coma, right? And this makes that other person feel uncomfortable. Like, don't wake me up. I want to stay in this delusion. I want to stay with the ego, and right in this delusion. I want to stay small and hidden, right? So who do you dismiss because they make you feel uncomfortable, even if their truth resonates? And what does my inner rebel protect me from feeling? Right? Because it's provoking your spirit, but it's coming through your emotions. So what feelings? Your inner rebel is trying to protect you from what feelings? Could be grief, anger, right? Sadness, fear too. Okay. So that's what I got there. And just there's the online retreat, Healing the Father Wound. And I hope if you're called, like my prayer is that the women that are really called to do this work arrive at the retreat. And so they're going to be the core ones, because somebody said, well, I can't afford the Healing the Father the Wound online retreat just yet. And that's just a sign. It's just a sign that you're not ready. You're not ready, or it's not your time yet, right? But just know that the women that do show up create this energetic tsunami for the fractal, basically. And so we're all focused, right, on this wound of liberating each woman from this wound, this father wound, so that she can really step into her power, right? And then where's that going to go, that energy? It's going to go to her family and friends and community. But you know where it's going to go first is her fractal, down the fractal. So everybody benefits from the fractal, right? For the ones that are kind of on the front line, ready to do this work, healing the father wound. And remember, you're held in an energetic construct, and it's going to be embracing the Phoenix codes to do this deep, deep healing. And you're going to see where in your chart where your unique father wound is, so that you can bring your full attention and focus on that area, right, within you, because it's ancestral. It's ancestral, right? It's come down your ancestral line. Okay, so let's do The fractal reading. Pulled some cards here for the 39. And just have some water. Okay. So the fractal, yeah. Where we go? Oh, that's funny. Okay. Just a sec, I gotta get something here. Okay. So this is the Phoenix fractal. Just some cards here. And let me just get this out of the way. There we go. Okay, so we got the Two of Swords and the Eight of Pentacles reversed. So what's the source of pressure? Because the 39 is coming off the root, so there's a pressure there. There's a pressure, a primal pressure. And so with these two cards here, it says that this is denying, right? That's what the Two of Swords here. You can see the crow is trying to take her blindfold off. This is denial here, and it's paralysis. So it's caught between, the fractal is caught between truth and comfort. So the Two of Swords is a mental avoidance, and if I don't focus on it, if I don't see it, it's not real, right? I won't have to change. If I don't look at it, if I turn away, I'm not going to change. This is the old snake in the grass, right? If I deny that there's a snake in the grass, then it doesn't exist. It's what kids used to do, right? Hide their eyes, and they think nobody can see them, right? That's like this here. So it's like I'm refusing to see. This is like a mental refusal to see, right? And then then I don't have to change. That's the payoff. I don't have to change. So the Eight of Pentacles reverse says burnout. This is huge burnout. And the burnout is from pretending, right? Pretending, playing a role. That this is like you're burned out. You're tired of this. So you've been working hard, it says, at the wrong thing. You're trying to perfect your mask. You're not self. You're trying to fix yourself from the outside, and it's futile, and your body knows it. That's what this card's saying. So Gate 39 pressing here is saying stop doing and trying to fix and start being, right? Stop doing, start being, start listening to yourself and your inner voice. And the answer is not in your productivity. It's not in your productivity and being busy and trying to fix this problem in an external way, right? It's in your truth, right? It's in your truth, and that means you need to stop and listen. Start listening to yourself. Stop listening to other people. Stop listening to like workshops and so-called experts, right? Listen to yourself here. And what's the karmic loop that's trying to be broken? This is the Ace of Pentacles sideways. And so this is missed opportunities. It's a missed opportunity here. Soul contracts. The Ace of Pentacles can be a soul contract that is unfulfilled, right? It's still there in the timeline, right? But you're not stepping towards your soul contract. So seeds never planted and safety, right? And so this is the loop of ambivalence, right? It's a loop of ambivalence because it's sideways. And this is like, do I go for it? Do I say yes? Do I leap? But you're hesitating. You want guarantees, right? You want guarantees. And the divine doesn't give you guarantees when you make the leap, right? That's the point of faith, is that you leap and the net appears, right? So the 39 is not going to offer you guarantees, right? This is the a pressure that leads to spark if you move. If you move, so the way your path is shown as you move, as you trust and have faith, right? Moment by moment, it's shown to you. So this is the loop that you're in, and this is the hesitation to face your destiny. So what false rebel ego voice is blocking liberation? Oh, the old King of Swords, right? Always shows up on these readings. So this is the false king. The false king, this is the cold authority of the ego mind. This is your ego mind. So the king is sharp, right? He's sharp, but he's not wise, right? He's not wise. Intellectual does not mean wisdom. This is true wisdom. He's not truly wise, the king. He trusts only logic. Doesn't trust intuition, only logic. He dismisses intuition. He dismisses emotion, vulnerability. He dismisses the feminine, right? He says, control it, divine feminine, rationalize it, stay in power. So this is the voice that rejects the divine father because, right? Because you once trusted and you were hurt. And now you only trust this King of Swords within you, right? And so the thing with the King of Swords, this is your ego, your rebel ego. Of course, you're going to bring in a manifestation of that with some masculine in your life, right? But he's just a mirror for what's controlling you. Is your own King of Swords within you, right? Okay. So this is like trust that's rooted in fear. So the gate 39 is pressing up against this, not to just provoke the King of Swords, your ego, your rebel ego, but it's to dethrone this king, so that the soul can listen to truth again, so that your soul can come forward. The 39 wants to get the King of Swords out of the way, right? So what's the true spark that wants to move through the body? And that's the star card. So this is the true spark. It's hope, it's vision, it's healing, it's remembering your original self, right? So this is the divine whisper beneath the shadow that you're not broken, you're sacred, and you still have time. There's still hope for you. You can get out of this karmic loop. So the star is a soul level guidance trying to pour into the body, but it's blocked by this King of Swords. Control, and then the Two of Swords, fear. So gate 39 is trying to pierce the ego's armor so that the star can really come through for you. And what does the soul want to initiate? Because the sun's in the 39, and then it's moving into the 53, right? Which is the programming partner of the 54 that I talked about, the keys and locks, right? So what does it want to initiate, right? This is the Queen of Swords, right? So this is about truth. It's the feminine voice of clarity. So it's based in truth, not control, like the King of Swords. So it's more of the feminine coming. The feminine clarity wants to come up and get rid of this masculine, right? This masculine rebel ego. So this is the feminine voice of clarity. She survived the lie that you've been living in. She's felt the pain, and now she speaks truth without attachment. So the soul is ready to cut through the illusion, not with judgment, but with discernment. And this queen doesn't flatter. She doesn't flatter. She remembers who she is. She remembers who she is. And then once the sun moves in gate 53, the soul wants to initiate a timeline of clarity, truth speaking, and clean boundaries, especially for the divine feminine. So that's the fractal energy. So that goes with what I was talking about in the video before this reading. So if we go for the twin flames, right? So the twin flame journey is all about union, not with your twin flame, but union with yourself. That's the point, with your own soul. It's union with your own soul. here. So remember that. Okay. So let's do the false twin first, your karmic here. So how you operate in this connection, divine feminine? Well, it's the Knight of Pentacles, the slowest knight, right? So slow, rigid, loyal to routine, right? To your routine, to comfort, right? Not revelation. So this is someone who doesn't grow. You're not growing. You're expecting stability, control, and predictable effort. You don't move with spirit. You don't move with your spirit. You're not in the flow with your soul. This is all about habit. It's all about habits here. Right? It's all about habits, the Knight of Pentacles. So in this context, this is an anchor, right? With your false twin, it's an anchor. It's not a liberator, right? So this is the karmic keeping you in the loop. Just the mundane, right? The Knight of Pentacles. And then what karmic pattern is present in this connection? So this is the wounded warrior, the Nine of Wands loop. So defensive, exhausted, emotionally unavailable. And there's no true repair, just guarded rest. Just guarded rest. So this shows a pattern of emotional injury where both parties retreat. They both retreat, right, with the Four of Swords there, instead of reveal. They don't get to the root of the issue. They just retreat, and they're tired of this dynamic with the false twin. Okay. So there's no vulnerability. There's no truth. There's no evolution here. And under the Gate 39's pressure is wasted here. It hits armor. It just hits armor. It doesn't hit truth. And then what illusion or false fulfillment keeps this dynamic alive? The Nine of Cups and Tower reversed. The illusion is I'm happy, I'm fine, everything's great, I'm fine, this is great. But the Tower is shaking underneath, right? That Nine of Cups. And this is classical spiritual bypass or emotional delusion, where pleasure, comfort, or superficial stability is prioritized, right? Well, there's money coming in, stable money coming in. We have our habits. It's stable, right? But this is the avoidance of a deeper truth. And you fear that this will collapse. So you pretend that it's fulfillment. Oh, I'm fulfilled. But Gate 39 is going to provoke this lie with the Tower reversed here. The lie is going to come up, right? It's going to come out. So what truth is being ignored or blocked? Ace of Pentacles reversed and the Four of Cups. So the real beginning, there's been a real beginning with you, divine feminine, with the false twin, right? Something came in, some opportunity came in. And this, you rejected it, right? It was a beginning, a new beginning for you, but you rejected it. So you were offered something sacred from the divine. The divine offered you something sacred. The seed of something that's connected to your soul purpose, your soul contract, right? But what did you say? This is the apathy card, right? This is the apathy, the numbness. Well, maybe later, right? Maybe later. Arms are crossed, right? I don't know. Maybe, right? So you sit under the tree of your comfort, arms crossed, while the true gift of awakening hovers, right? So this shows a missed soul contract, here, one that the ego is not ready to fulfill, right? Because the ego is not ready to fulfill because it has to go. You have to change, right? So where this path ultimately leads, right? Because so you chose your karmic. This is what this is saying. You chose to stay in this karmic loop. So where this path ultimately leads is Three of Pentacles reversed and the Fool reversed. This is no collaboration, no leap of faith with the karmic. This dynamic cannot support shared purpose or soul level expansion. And the full reverse shows that the soul knows it's time to jump. Your soul knows that it's time to jump and leap, but the ego is saying, stay safe, stay small, right? But this path leads to nowhere new, right? So it's traveling down the same roads. There's no change here, Divine Feminine, with your karmic, right? So the karmic has fulfilled their role. They fulfilled their role in your life. And now they're blocking growth. Now they're actually blocking growth. So there's no movement. So watch the earlier part of my video, right, to learn more about that. But let's go into the true twin flame. What's going on with your true twin flame, your true divine counterpart. And this is Knight of Pentacles. So they're slow, steady, careful, but for different reasons. So the true twin is not avoiding growth, but protecting the sacred, So they're not avoiding growth, they're protecting the sacred. They're trying to build a connection with integrity, not force. They move slowly because of the weight they feel is real, right? They're taking their time with this. This is good. This is healthy. So what soul wound? Because you don't want the twin that's not ready to meet you, right? So they're taking their time. So what soul wound are they healing? And this is the 9 of Wands and the 4 of Swords. So they've been wounded in love, right? The twins, likely from past trauma in the karmic cycle that they've been in. And they've also sought refuge, not escape, right? So this is a healthy refuge, solitude. And they've sought this to recover. So the twin is in an energetic hibernation right now, but the wound is nearly healed. It's nearly healed. So they're listening, they're dreaming, and they're rebuilding the trust. They're rebuilding their trust with their own divine masculine, so their own inner divine masculine. They're rebuilding that trust. And then what soul desire is rising beneath the surface? The 9 of Cups and the Tower reversed for the true twins. So they want emotional fulfillment, they want deep joy, but they're afraid of how much they'll have to change to receive it. Right? So the soul is whispering, you can have this. You can have this 9 of Cups, right? But you have to let the old world fall. You have to let your old life fall, right? So they're hovering at the edge of union, the twins. They're not ready to jump, but they want to. They want to, but they're not ready because it's the Tower reversed. So what guidance or inner truth is calling them? The Ace of Pentacles reversed and the 4 of Cups. So the connection has been offered to the true twins, right? So the connection was offered, but the twin hasn't fully opened to it. So this could be you or your twin, because the fear of what will be required of them. To accept it means giving up the small life. Right? To accept it means to not stay hidden, not to stay small in this lifetime. They know that they have to really step up, right? To meet their twin, right? Because remember, the twins, it's not about romance. Yeah, sure, there's romance and stuff, but the higher purpose of the twin flame connection is that they have a shared soul purpose, and it's usually very big, right? And it calls each twin to like really stretch themselves. And this means to let go of an old self, right? The old small life that they've been living. This is, they have to let go of the karmic comfort, but the gift is still there, right? So it's still there. And their soul knows, right? If I open now to this twin flame connection, like everything changes. I go through a massive phoenix, right? Phoenix moment, a massive transformation. I know this. That's hence this Knight of Pentacles, going slow. So where this path leads, if they choose truth, right? Their soul contract, the twins both signed a contract, where this path leads, if they choose truth, Three of Pentacles reversed and the Fool reversed. Well, if the twin doesn't choose bravery and courage to like, yes, I can do this. I want this in this lifetime. Well, the path will stall. The path will stall. The soul is ready to rebuild the temple, but they must leap. The soul's ready, but you must leap. So the cards say the potential is there, the union is sacred, but free will is still being tested. The free will is still being tested. So the soul is inviting the twins into a new cycle, right? A new cycle, and that starts with 53 when the sun moves into the 53, right? The new cycle. But you have to release the rebel ego and take that sacred risk. Take that sacred risk. So just the wrap up here is the false twin clings to comfort and misses the spark, misses the life force energy, just clings to comfort, dies their life, basically sticking with their karmic. And the true twin feels the spark, feels the life force energy, but still fears its fire. So gate 39 is pressing both the false twin and the true twins, but only the true counterpart has the capacity to transform this pressure into movement. The karmic does not have the capacity to transform the pressure into movement. Only the divine counterpart does. Okay. So that's what I have for this week. And just a reminder, I've got a lot of information on my website. And if you're feeling really called, like, oh, my body's on fire for this, right? I'm feeling my sacral is like I'm almost going into the screen and into the screen for this Healing the Father Wound, Awakening the Divine Feminine, then definitely check it out. July 18th, which isn't too far away. It's like just under 3 weeks now, I guess. 18th to the 20th. Okay, to learn more about it. And meantime, take really good care of yourself. Really step up and challenge yourself and like just claim it. I want this. I want my soul purpose in this lifetime. I'm ready to have this great adventure and I'm ready to be liberated. This is an opportunity this week, right? You don't want to let that pass you by, right? This energy. Okay? And have a re-listen too if you feel like, oh, there's some things that I really I need to hear again. Yeah, like definitely have a re-listen. I'll timestamp the content themes. Okay. So have a great week. I'm not sure when I'll be on next, but it may be sooner than later. Okay. So Satnam Aloha, everybody. Take good care. Bye-bye.